What's up, everyone? I'm Rachel West, new sports multimedia producer with The Times, and I'm here along with the one and only Marc Topkin, Rays beat reporter. Marc, how are things going out there in San Diego?
Oh, it's been interesting. It's been a lot of fun. It's started out such a weird thing, a neutral site, the Rays and Yankees from Tampa Bay and New York playing in San Diego, California. But look, we know why they did it. We know why MLB wanted to do the neutral sites. From what the players have said, the bubble hotel thing has been a great situation for them. It's a resort where they get to actually go out of their rooms as opposed to how it was during the regular season. And obviously, they've been playing really well. They've kind of made themselves at home at Petco Park, beating the Yankees 3-2, now a 3-0 lead over the Astros. And, the game times are weird because they're playing, on East Coast time, but yet on West Coast time, obviously, as well. So, games start at 5 here when they're 8 there, middle of the afternoon here when it's a late afternoon game back home. But I think they've really adapted to it well. They've gotten comfortable. I think, they're familiar with the surroundings now. And obviously, like I said, they've played really well.
Yeah, and like you said, 3-0 lead against Houston right now, just one win away from the World Series. And really a big part of that success has been their defense. Just, it seems one spectacular defensive play after the next. Just how good has it been?
Yeah, it's interesting because, we see it a lot during the season, Rachel, and, the Rays don't get a ton of attention nationally. So it's been kind of funny after the games to come back and flip on ESPN, and they're making a huge deal about some of these defensive plays. And they've been really, really good, no doubt about it. But it's almost like it's a new thing. America should discover the Rays are a good defensive team. Now, they are a really good defensive team. They've been a really good defensive team. Pitching and defense has been kind of their DNA for a long time. But the last couple of years, just the players they have, Kevin Cash is, heaps praise on them, the manager. He makes it very clear that defense is going to win games. He challenges those guys to make those plays. He wants them to do it. And they've been spectacular. The infield defense is why they won game 2. We saw play after play by Joey Wendell, Willie Adames, Ji-Man Choi, Brandon Lau with the huge double play. And then in game 3 last night, the outfield defense was incredible right from the start. Kiermaier with the leaping catch at the wall. Kiermaier with another diving catch, Hunter Renfroe with 2 plays. And it was amiss to not mention Manny Margot's play in game 2, even though we credited the infielders with him going over that outfield wall. Crazy moment. So they have just been flashing leather everywhere. We call it a glove story, but they've just been great, and that's a huge part of why they win. Look, they don't score a ton of runs. They play a ton of close games. Pitching's been really good, but you needed something else there. And for the Rays, it's been defense.
Yeah, and do you think that's kind of starting to get into the heads of the Houston lineup a little? Saw last night a couple of them hanging their heads after the second diving catch of the inning. How do you think that's affecting their mentality?
Now, that's a great point that you made. Kevin Cash said something similar last night after the game. He was asked, what would it be like to play against your team? And he thought about it for a minute. It was a really good question. And he said, we think it would be relentless between the pitching that we bring, pitcher after pitcher after pitcher who's good, and the defense. And he said what you said, that, it gets to a team, it gets frustrating where you start thinking, man, we can't find a spot to hit the ball. And the Rays do a lot of work in their positioning, a lot of shifting. We see them all the time moving, sometimes 2 or 3 different times per at bat. It's all, planned out. It's not necessarily scripted, but it's all planned out. In this situation, do this. In this situation, do this. And, the pitcher ultimately can have a little say in that, but they pretty much have been in the right spot for so many times this postseason, and that's a credit to all the work that their front office guys do, as well as the coaches, and then obviously, and most importantly, the players for buying in and for executing.
Yeah, for sure. And now on the flip side of things, their offense, the depth of their lineup has really been everyone's been able to see that the depth 1 through 9. They've all contributed. It seems like a different night. You had Rosarena a couple nights ago, then Zunino and Margot with a home run 2 days ago, and then last night Wendell and Renfroe contributing a couple RBIs. Just how tough is it to face a lineup that's so deep like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's it. You look at the Yankee lineup and you say, oh, there's 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that are just superstar players that can beat you. You look at the Rays lineup and you really don't think that. I mean, and the one guy who maybe you would, Brandon Lau, has done the least for them this postseason. I mean, think of this. They're 1 win away from the World Series, and Brandon Lau has 3 hits in the postseason. So, they have basically done it without their team most valuable player. And it does speak to the depth. It's a different hero every night mentality. I think that also goes into the players buying in. They know that they're not going to play every day. They know they're going to sometimes get pinch hit for. And for guys who come over to a team like Hunter Renfroe, it probably was a bit of an adjustment. I know it was early in the season for him, but I think to his credit, he just kind of took this whatever, I'll help you when you need me kind of attitude, and comes off the bench last night, 2 huge defensive plays, big hit, funny, big right-handed power hitter, and it's a bloop double to right field, but hey, whatever works. So I think you're seeing it. It's not necessarily a lineup that's going to score a ton of runs. They can hit some home runs, and Arozarena's been kind of the breakout star of the postseason here, but just so many different ways that the Rays can beat you. If they strike out too much, they know that. They've got a couple contact hitters. That's one of the reasons Joey Wendell's in there so often, because he is one of the few contact hitters they have. But it's been the right mix. And you, again, couple that with the good pitching and defense. If they didn't have the good pitching and defense, scoring 2-3 runs a night, 4 runs a night wouldn't be enough. But because they are so big on run prevention, they almost look at that as part of their offense. In other words, if they know they can limit the other team, they don't have to score as many.
Exactly. Now, looking ahead to tonight, Tyler Glasnow is going to be taking the mound. Faced Houston last year, it didn't go so well with the tipping of the pitches. I know in yesterday's media session, he was talking to you guys saying, hadn't really thought about last year at all, just approaching tonight like any other game. How prepared do you think he is for this? And even though he might not say it, there's some redemption factor there that he wants.
No doubt. And he said that again yesterday. And I think I said something like, I'm going to break you one of these days, because that's been his answer at every stage of the postseason is just another game. It's just another game. And look, do I think he's going to go out there to the mound tonight thinking about last year's game and how they ambushed him and you know, he was tipping his pitches and scored 4 runs in the first inning? No, I don't. I don't think Tyler Glasnow is going to be thinking about the Astros game from last year in Game 5. But I do think as just part of his overall mental preparation, you know, you got beat by somebody, you have a chance to beat them. I think that's just natural. Any of us would feel that way at any level of competition, you know, not being elite athletes, but just in anything you do. If you lost, now you have a chance to win, you're going to be extra motivated by that. And another thing to think about going into tonight's game, I mean, it happens to be Tyler Glasnow's turn. He pitched for the Rays. He started Game 2 of the wild card series when they clinched and eliminated the Blue Jays. He started Game 5 of the Yankees series when he made that short rest appearance when they clinched and eliminated the Yankees. So there's a little bit of a good omen there that Tyler Glasnow will be on the mound for the Rays tonight with a chance to close out the Astros, sweep the American League Championship Series, and go to the World Series for the second time in franchise history, first since 2008.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get it done tonight. I know the Rays certainly don't want to prolong this series any more than it needs to be. So, Marc, thank you so much for your time. And we'll be seeing how the Rays do tonight. Everyone, make sure you follow along with Marc on Twitter throughout tonight's game, as well as TampaBay.com for full ALCS coverage, as well as live coverage along with the game.